Facebook, depending on where you're tuning in from throughout the world. It's Jerry coming from Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica, an ayahuasca-based life advancement center, unlike no other in the world. Over 16,000 people, almost 17,000, have come through the doors, and 98.36%, that's 983 out of every 1,000, say they had a life-changing miracle during their stay. Better off, 90.22% of those folks at the 6-month mark say that this was the week that changed their life. And because of that, we attract the most amazing kind of people from all over the world. On our board of directors, we have Michael Bernard Beckwith from the Agape Spiritual Center, the creator of the Agape Spiritual Center. Martin Luther King's son, Martin, the civil rights activist. Frank Biden, Joe Biden's brother. We have Kelly Slater, the greatest surfer of all time. We have Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. This week, Jack Canfield, author of the Chicken Soup book series, over 50 million sold. Tony Coe, the Fortune 100 top 100 self-made women in the world, sits on our board. Earl Koski, the businessman. Brandy Sabella, my ex-wife, and an amazing spiritual thought leader in her own right. All here, Dr. Jeff McNary, all here, right? Doing this amazing work, this amazing program that lasts a week, that is harder than anything you've ever done. It's no cakewalk. It's not for the weak. It is hard. But man, the benefits are too many to count. It's too great. That's why that board of directors I just told you about lends their name to this place, because of the amazing transformations in the safest environment for plant medicine in the world take place here. That's what this place is about. This little broadcast is called Ceremony Stories number 7. And what we talk about in here a lot is about tips that I received from my 342 odd journeys in plant medicine. Tips I received and how it relates to people that have been here. Because, see, what generally happens, this is a generalization and I don't have statistics on it, but I believe it's over 95% of the people who come through decide after they had this experience that they want to become a beneficial presence on the planet. Now, becoming a beneficial presence on the planet is an act of giving, right? It's not an act of getting. It's an act of giving. But in that giving, we generate mastery, and that mastery generally pays us back in the form of energy, and earth energy is currency, money, at some point. Now, this becoming a beneficial presence is usually a minimum of a 7-year ordeal. I've seen it take as many as 20 years. It's a lifetime commitment, and it's harder than anything you'll ever do. But the benefits will be greater than anything you could ever imagine. I mean, 10 times what you could ever imagine are yours. And what I talk about is this process and things I've learned. So I was super lucky. You know, I wasn't a high school graduate, but I managed to sell a company for $90 million when I was younger. And you know, I did good. And a lot of the principles and practices that I used when I did plant medicine were reconfirmed in these journeys. And I'm going to tell you one that comes up often. So this clarity of purpose, what is this? This is that I am so clear and I've focused on what I'm creating. I am so clear of how I want the Rythmia Life Advancement Center to operate. I'm so clear about the results I want it to bring. Or in other businesses, if you have another business, you're so clear about how you want your pizza to taste and the joy that you want it to bring. And you're just so intimately familiar with the result of your endeavor, with the result. You're so intimately familiar that there is no thinking about it. I can tell someone who's not crystal clear on their purpose, crystal clear on how they're becoming a benefit, because everything is up for debate. Do you want to go Wednesday? Oh, I don't know. Let me think about that or that. Everything. But if you get somebody who's crystal clear, their answers are bing, 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 because they know that whatever that is, they will process it super quickly and determine whether that's getting them closer to their end result or further from their end result. So what is the characteristics of someone who is super clear of purpose? They make decisions rapidly and they change them rarely, if ever. They make decisions rapidly and they change them right now. That doesn't mean that you don't back up and recalibrate. That doesn't mean that, because sometimes our decisions are wrong. But with the information that they have at that moment, they have a real strong opinion as to whether that decision is going to take them closer or further away from their becoming a beneficial presence in this very, very, very clear way. Truth. Now, that brings up some other things. One of the other characteristics is they say no a lot. They say no a lot because most things presented to you are either going to divert you, diffuse you, or move you in the opposite of this thing that you're trying. So if you see someone who says no often, that person is really clear about what they want. That person is really clear about what they want. If you're saying yes too often, you diffuse, divert, and retract. You are, because all of your resources are finite, right? They're finite. So you have to be able to pick and choose those that are getting you closer to this thing. It's a key thing. So if you're saying yes too often, get clear about what it is. That this whole thing is about clarity on what it is. You know, I've been lucky to make great friends over the past 60 years of my life, right? I've made great friends. One of my dear friends is Papa John, the pizza man. He is so specific when he was building his company, so clear. And he knew so quickly about where he wanted his locations. Instead of looking at maps, he'd fly around in a helicopter and say, buy this one, buy that corner, buy that corner. He was so crystal clear. There's a guy who built a company that had 80,000 employees. I mean, amazing, right? So clarity is everything. The other thing, and this is what was shown to me, and I didn't understand it. I was using the principle, but I didn't understand it until she showed me. That if you double down, you can never lose. I want you to catch that. If you fail and then come right back and double down, and fail and come right back and double down and come right back and double down and come right back and double down and come right back and double down, you cannot fail. You can't. You cannot. The only way you can fail in that scenario is that if you run out of time and die in this experience of earth life. You cannot lose if you move forward and double down. Isn't that crazy? My friend Jack Canfield from the Chicken Soup series is here this week. And here's a classic example, right? So they went to, I believe it's 142, but it might be 143 publishers. And they kept getting told no. So the 144th one, he doubled down again and did one more, and they said yes. And that yes led to 50 million book sales. So roughly more than 10% of the United States, if you look at the bought that book. Crazy, right? So the first guy said no. Second guy said no. Third guy said no. 143rd guy said no. But he kept going and kept doubling down. So if you take a look at roulette strategies, the casinos know this, right? They know this. So what they do is they put a limit on the highest amount of money that can be bet, because they know that if the person keeps doubling down and adding 10%, they have to win in a 50-50 deal. They have to win. So the great thing about life is that we can double down for free. All it costs us is more time, more grit, more commitment, more clarity. That's the most beautiful thing. So what that means is that it doesn't matter how many times you've lost. All you got to do is keep doubling down, and you will win. You will win. What a great thing. What a great thing to know. People say to me all the time, well, what would happen if you lost rythmia? I'd do it again. Simple. I would do it again, right? I'll never lose. I might run out of time. I might have a heart attack and pass. But as long as I have, an Australian saying here, 2 feet and a heartbeat, I'm going to go again and again and again and double down and double down and double down and double down. Fact. Just fact. And it's clear. And once you get it, once you get that vision, once you catch that, you'll never, ever, ever feel the same about failure, about a loss. It's temporary. It's temporary. So this is how I look at starting a business like this or like any other. Whatever forces are against me are going to have to win 1,000,000 times. And I only have to win once. That's it. That's it. All I have to win is once. They have to win against me every day. Every day. So as long as I keep coming back, I cannot lose. And this is the same for you in your business, in your community that you're trying to build, in becoming, if you want to be a healer or a teacher, it's the same thing. You keep learning and you keep doubling down. Keep learning and keep doubling down. And I say that in hand with this, that this process is not a process of perfection. It's a process of persistence. There's a funny thing too. I'm in a business with a guy here from a very wealthy family here, and he said something to me the other day. He said, "Perfection is the enemy of progress." And I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? This guy is right. Perfection is the enemy of progress, because persistence involves imperfection. It involves learning. And the thing is, once you fall in love with that process, the process of, I tell people not to be in startup. People who spend their life in startup waste a lot of time and waste a huge amount of energy. So I'm not talking about failing and changing your business or failing. I'm talking about failing and continuing, failing and continuing, failing and continuing, failing and continuing. It's all a part of the process. But remember that it's so everyone's a winner who doesn't quit. Every single one is a winner who doesn't quit. Fact. Cheers. I wanted to get that to you. I hope you use it. I hope it resonates with you. It's something so simple, but something that you have to feel to understand. And once you do, it'll change your mind about everything. All right. God bless you. God keep you. God hold you. We will see you next week. Cheers.